What are we doing about the... What are you laughing at?
I just noticed that this video on my website is sponsored by Rooster Teeth. How fitting. Emus are considered to be one of the most dangerous animals in all of Australia. An impressive feat considering the other shit that lives in Australia. But along with being one of the deadliest birds in the world, the emu is also incredibly curious, as evidenced by its bizarre habit of walking up behind people and poking them with its beak. Also, I should point out that today's a drinking video. So, yeah. Oh, look at that. Everyone's joining me.
Everyone.
Yes, everyone.
Oh, mysterious voice. So before we earn the ire of the comment section,
Okay.
is it pronounced emu or emu?
Yes. One of those, I think. Cool. People are correct us either way, so pronounce it however the fuck you want, mate. It's like, you know, what, Emo, go for it. Or what's the weirdest way you could think to pronounce it? Emu? Emu? Let's just do both. You know what? If I'm having a drink, I can't be arsed concentrating on how to pronounce a 3-letter word. Fuck it, it's emu. Emu.
So now we've got that out of the way.
Yes, it only took one take as well. And the thing is though, now Brad fucked up the take and now he can't be mad at me for messing up the other 3.
3.
Yes, 3.
I understand, like, a big bird being dangerous.
Yeah, it's a big ass bird and it can do some damage.
But considering what lives in Australia, one of the most dangerous animals there?
Yes, believe it or not, folks at home, as Brad just pointed out, the emu is one of the most dangerous animals in all of Africa. And what? Not Africa, sorry. I'll tell you what. Sorry, I was thinking about hippos, but you know what? If you airdropped a couple of emus into Africa, I bet they'd hold their own. I can bet that an emu could kick a lion to death.
I was thinking about hippos!
Shut up, right. Yes, believe it or not, emus are one of the most dangerous animals in Australia. And
Africa!
And Africa, if you airdrop some emus into Africa, some shit would go down. Anyway, because you know what they'd do? They'd team up with
camouflage with the hippos.
No, they'd team
no
up.
one see them coming.
They'd team up with the ostriches and show them how to kick some ass. Anyway, they are one of the most dangerous animals in Australia, not Africa. And Brad will now put a list of other dangerous animals that happen to live in Australia for people so people can have, like, you know, some context on how dangerous that fucking animal is. And, like, there's an idea of, like, how dangerous Australia is. We've talked before, haven't we, Brad? The Gimpy tree.
Oh god, yeah.
People don't know about the Gimpy tree. That thing will fuck your shit up. It is a tree that has leaves that are coated in what amounts to tiny hypodermic needles filled with potent neurotoxin that cause you to feel agonising pain for about 10 years straight. It's the most ridiculous thing. Do you know what my favourite thing? Because Australia, they're so chill about the fact they've got this deadly ass tree with leaves on it that cause unimaginable agony when you brush your skin against it. They call little versions of it ankle biters. What an adorable ass name for a plant that causes pain that has been likened to having the affected area electrocuted with acid spilt on it at the exact same time. Let's just call it the ankle biter. I'm surprised by that logic. They don't just call, like, black widow spiders ball biters because they happen to hide under toilet seats sometimes. Which I thought was a myth, and I looked it up, and apparently it's true. But then another website said it's not true. And now I don't know what to believe.
Why are emus so dangerous?
Well, Josh, the reason that emus are so dangerous is a combination of 2 factors. 1, they possess big-ass talons, and 2, they can kick with those talons using their big-ass powerful legs with enough force to puncture a steel fence.
How big are the talons?
About 5 inches long.
So gigantic then?
Yes, 5 inches is massive.
Yeah, like a mastodonic size.
Yeah, they are. Is that a real word?
It's in South Park.
Mastodon. What? An emu's 5-inch talons are mastodonic in size. Okay then. But yes, 5 inches is especially large for a set of talons.
It's not just the size either.
No, it's how they're wielded that make them, like, you know, especially dangerous and awe-inspiring in the right hands. Yeah. But also exciting and enticing. We're still talking about talons, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
You know, my friends call me the emu, Karl.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's actually like 5 foot tall and annoying.
Wow. Just bringing me down a level.
Thanks to these two things, an emu could quite literally kick your ass. And the worst part is, while you were lying on the floor, nursing your emu wounds, it'd walk over to your body and start pecking it out of curiosity. Because that's how emu do.
So, do we have any examples of emus being this badass?
We actually do, because in 1932, the Australian government decided, you know what? Fuck these emus. There's enough shit in Australia that can mess up our day. We don't need the emus on top of this. So what they did is they waged an actual war against the emus and lost. And the Wikipedia page for this is fucking amazing. And I invite anyone who wants to laugh to go check out the Wikipedia page on the Great Emu War of 1932. Because not only did the Australians lose, the Wikipedia summary for it keeps getting vandalised. Because originally when I first researched it, it said on the Wikipedia page, belligerents, like 500 Australian soldiers armed with machine guns, emus. And it says like, outcome, decisive emu victory. That's what it said originally. I think it's been changed now, so it says, outcome, failure, emus persist. So just, emus continue to exist, failure for the Australian military. It's like, man, that's embarrassing all round, isn't it? Like, you have got opposable thumbs, like a million years of evolution and machine guns on your side, and you get beaten by an emu. And I want to know how the last day of fighting in the Great Emu Wars went down. I want to know when they called the ceasefire, who got the play of the game? What emu got the play of the game? And what skin did they have?
I imagine the emu skin, Karl.
No, because I think
Do you think they were wearing different outfits?
I like to think they were, yeah. I like to think they were all wearing different hats. They're all wearing different hats because I'm imagining now, because there are various birds that look like that. You have there's emus, there's cassowaries, and there's ostriches. And they all basically are super dangerous. And cassowaries are noted as being more dangerous than both emus and ostriches because they're more aggressive. And I like to think that the cassowary is just an emu that leveled up. Like the emu, it's like that's a level 1. You start at level 1, you're an emu. And when you level up enough, you get to be an ostrich. But then when the ostrich levels up even more than that, it's like you become a cassowary. Because a cassowary is just an emu wearing epic loot. That's how it's doing it. It's a cassowary that's either bought microtransactions or leveled the fuck up. And that's how it works. And that's why they're so much more fabulous. It's like you start as an emu at level 1, you get, and then you become an ostrich, and then when you finally get your epic loot, you put it on and you become a cassowary. And that's why you're so aggressive, because you're a high level player. Because you've got the skills. But I'm in love with that idea now. Can you think of any animals in the animal kingdom that look like other animals that have just leveled up?
Well, the obvious one is that tigers or lions are just leveled up forms of cats.
See, that's how it works, isn't it? So you go from cat, cat's obviously level 1, then it levels up and it becomes a bobcat, then it becomes a lynx, and then if it wants to specialise in like speed, power, or agility or whatever, so if it specialises in speed, it becomes a cheetah, specialises in power, it becomes like a tiger, but if it's like, if it goes for both and goes for a balanced build, it becomes like a lion. We're on to something here, Brad. Come on, what other animals have we got? We start with a dog. So you start with dog. So you start as like a chihuahua or a beagle or something like that. And you level up and you become a wolf right at the end. But if you want to go for stamina, you become an African savanna dog.
So I think you're onto something here.
I do as well.
What do you reckon would happen with chimps?
Well, chimps, obviously, if you're a chimp and you spec into intelligence, you become an orangutan. And that's why you've got like those super smart orangutans like Ken Allen. Do you know about Ken Allen?
I don't know.
People don't know, just Google Ken Allen the orangutan or listen to for another 30 seconds while I talk about him. Ken Allen the orangutan was an orangutan in a zoo in San Diego or something who kept escaping from his cage. And the reason he escaped was he liked walking around the zoo looking at the other animals. And every time they locked him up in a new cage, he figured out a way to escape from it. And that's obviously specking into each other. And then gorillas are obviously chimps have spec into strength. Mate, we're onto it here. Like, I'm just now imagining like a chimp like in Dark Souls armour. Like, when chimps do all the swinging through the trees, that's just the chimp who's just put it all into decks and he's just rolling through the environment. Maybe for like the fight, like a chimp versus like final boss gorilla, has put it all into decks and he's just dancing around the gorilla and punches it in the back once and just does the riposte. We're on to something here, man. It's great.
There's a whole universe.
We think we basically just become Tier Zoo now. Go watch Tier Zoo. Tier Zoo's great. I don't know how much, because I don't watch much of them, but I hope we haven't written them off at any point.
Tier Zoo?
It's just a guy who rates animals in terms of video game stats. He's like, sharks. And he talks about basically what we just did there.
Yeah.
Like buffs and nerfs for various animals. So I hope we didn't rip off that too much. I only know tangentially about it, but I've heard it's good. Go watch it. Despite their fearsome reputation in Australia, emus are rarely violent and are mostly curious about humans more than anything, which makes sense when you're an animal who only has like 2 natural predators. And even then, one of those natural predators apparently can't beat you in a fight if it has a machine gun.
Or like several hundred people.
Yeah, several hundred people all machine guns. Do you know well, one last thing about the Emu Wars. Can you please put up the picture from the Wikipedia page of the Emu Wars, because it's fucking brilliant. It's like this Australian soldier holding a dead emu, but it looks like he's just strangling an emu and someone managed to capture him in the act of doing so. It just looks like he's like getting, it's like, oh, the Emu Wars, and it's like the picture that demonstrates the Emu Wars is this Australian soldier trying to strangle an emu. Do you think about it? Emus, ostriches and cassowaries are probably one of the easiest or most difficult animals to strangle, depending on how you think about it. Because they're all neck. It's like, Brad, is it easy or difficult to strangle a swan?
I mean, I'd argue it was difficult.
The thing, because the neck's so long, but at the same time, it's also strong. It's long, but it's strong. Audience at home, is it easy or difficult to strangle a swan? I genuinely want to know what people think about this. Because I've had this argument before about snakes. Are you strangling a snake every time you pick it up? Where does the neck begin and the tail, and where does the neck begin and end on a snake?
Presumably and anatomically, it's got a section that's either classed as a neck or it doesn't have a neck. So you'd have to look into that.
It's got to have a neck.
I mean, I'm coming with a logical
answer
now.
Head,
but...
and then it's got a stomach, because obviously the food goes somewhere, and it's got a throat because it swallows the egg, but where does like the stomach start and begin? So are you strangling a snake every time you pick it up? But at the same time, is that animal cruelty? So are you, every time you pick a snake, if you see someone pick up a snake, you get done for strangling that snake? And if you call up RSPCA, will they think you're talking about wanking? When you say, I've seen them, I saw my mate strangling his snake yesterday. It was really awful. Help me.
Don't quite know what to input here. I think that we need to petition Wikipedia because that image is not representative of the outcome of the emu war.
It isn't, is it? Because the image shows a guy holding a dead emu, and we now know that it was a decisive emu victory because the emus persisted. And I love that phrasing, emus persist, as if like they're just like some like metaphysical concept in reality that cannot be challenged, like the tide or gravity. It's like I imagine like, who's it? Is it King David or whoever who sat at the tide and told it to go back to show the limits of his power? I'm just imagining an Australian general just sat there on a fucking throne commanding the emus to go back. Just a wave of feathers engulfs his men. Who's there going, I didn't expect this. I'm really sorry. And you just see him as he puts the gun to his head. He just gets buried in emus.
I'm pretty sure that story of King David is apocryphal, but I would love it if King David was in Australia and he commanded back the tide and the tide went. And then he tries to command
rise from the ocean. So you get tide come back, the emus are coming.
So you need to use the tide to wash away the emus, but their legs are too long. You can't wash away the emus.
They thought they were just ducks with really long necks, and then the water drained away, and it was like, oh no, the emus are coming.
Emus are just disguised ducks in water.
Oh man, this is great. I'm having a great day. I'm loving it. I just thought of it now. Swans are just ducks that have put all their stats into just like vision.
Into neck.
Into neck. Because neck is its own stat.
They're the Skyrim character creator. They're ducks on the Skyrim, the duck version of Skyrim just slid the neck slider all the way up.
Just neck slider.
So the emus are just more curious than anything.
Yes, and this culminates in the display of a behaviour that is frankly fucking amazing and that scientists can't really explain. That involves emus walking up to people and animals, pecking them once when their back is turned, and running away just to see how they react.
So why would they do that at all?
Scientists aren't really sure, but they believe it's some sort of game played by emus because they're naturally curious creatures, and obviously they can't walk up and tap something with their foot because they kick with the power of a sledgehammer and they have 5-inch talons at the end of their feet. So if they tried it with their foot, it'd just be them walking up behind someone and just stabbing them. That is like a Dark Souls style riposte on whoever they happen to go behind. So they peck them very lightly with their beak and run away to see what the reaction is. And they've been noted to follow people because they find humans fascinating because they don't really see them all that much. They follow them for sometimes miles just to sneak up on them when they stop, peck them once in the back and then leg it. And it'd be cute if it wasn't for the fact that you also think that emu, if it really wanted to, could just kick you in the back and probably like put its tiny little foot through your chest like a Mortal Kombat fatality and like just puncture your heart.
Do you think this is their spoils for winning the Great Emu War?
You know, it could be, couldn't it? It's just the emu's way of showing off because they know they can beat us in like a straight up fight, even if we've got a gun. And it reminds me a lot of like what Native Americans used to do in battles with like soldiers, where they have something called like I think it's the coup stick, where they're basically to get like points or whatever amongst your tribe, you had to like sneak up to the enemy when they were like in battle and poke them with a stick and run away. And that was like considered like a great honour because it showed that you were strong enough and smart enough and fast enough to go within touching distance of the enemy, touch them, and then not get killed. It's like an insult sort of thing. And maybe the emus are doing that. Where it's like, yeah, I could have killed you, but no, I attacked you with my beak. I could have just as easily though punched you in the back of the head with my foot and put a 5-inch talon up your arsehole. And that's kind of scary, isn't it?
I could have easily put this beak straight through your head.
Well, the thing is, have you seen like emu beaks? They're cute and all, but they could do you some damage there.
How long are they?
About that big, which is massive.
That
apparently.
is a huge
It is,
distance.
isn't it? Massive, that, ain't it, Brad? But like, all bird beaks are terrifying, except for like duck bills because they just look stupid. But like, Joe, toucan beaks, they shit me up. Do you know what toucans sometimes use their beaks for? 'Cause I always like toucans, one of my favourite animals, because they look so dumb. And so I found out, like, for many years, science like we don't know what toucans use this beak for. It's so dumb. They eat berries. You don't need a beak like this fucking long to eat a berry. What the fuck? And it turns out they sometimes use that beak to slap other toucans out of trees.
The bitch slap.
Yeah, they use it to like slap eggs of rival toucans out of their nest. It's like, holy fuck. If you look at a toucan eating, you can find like a clip or a picture. They eat like single nuts and seeds. So they use this giant beak to go, eh. It's like, that's not very efficient, but it is efficient if its purpose isn't eating berries and seeds, but if its purpose is slapping a bitch down. I think, holy fuck. It's like woodpeckers and stuff, man. Can you imagine if a woodpecker, when you were asleep, like parked next to your eyeball and went to town? That's game over. Or like hummingbirds. It's like that thing with like Principal Skinner, and their tongues are like tiny knives. Imagine if like 40 hummingbirds went, you know what? Let's get him. Let's get him, lads. And they just all attacked like every orifice on your face.
Carl, this is straying back into the birds take over the world territory.
Go see whatever video we talked about that in, 'cause holy shit. That was like, we worked out there, we'd be game over.
Doomed.
Because we worked out that, like, you know, peregrine falcons could just kill anyone they wanted by just dive bombing straight into our skull. It's like a Mortal Kombat X finisher, isn't it? It's the bird travelling at Mach 3. I'm just imagining he's breaking the sound barrier. Like, you just see fucking like terminal velocity, like re-entry flames going around a peregrine falcon diving directly at the president's nutsack. So oh man, birds, man, they'll fuck you up. So as usual, to clarify this glorious mess of a video, emu's an animal with one of the most powerful kicks on Earth, and a creature that has before in history beaten humans with machine guns, will occasionally sneak up behind people and poke them very gently with its beak, just because.
So that went well.
I think so too.
Yeah. So, I'm the one who edits it, so I know it didn't go well.
Yeah, I'm done for the day now. I go home. I just go home and have a drink. Bradley's got to deal with this shit. So yeah, good luck with that, mate.
You know, seeing as you're taking half the lines, you want to take half the editing work, mate?
I contributed maybe 5% to this video.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of monopolised the time in that one, didn't I? It's almost like I'm the one who's been drinking and you guys have been slacking. What animal do you think's leveled up the most? Ooh. Go back to that. What animal against all others is like the highest level?
The blue whale.
That's fair point. But that's like,
we went from the tiniest fish. We went from a goldfish, right?
Yeah, but that's a fish, not a mammal, mate.
Shut up.
Your logic is flawed, but I'll follow it for a moment if it's interesting. Go.
It looks the same. Pokemon are different types, aren't they?
That's a fair point.
Precisely.
I will admit though, the blue whale does like the animal that's levelled up the most. It's like it's the biggest one, isn't it? And that's the idea in like Dark Souls bosses. They're the biggest. They've got the most souls.
I think the duckbill platypus has gone quite far.
Oh yeah, because that's the one that's like, you know, it's just specced into everything.
I reckon that's one of the ones where like you know how
with a beak that lays eggs and is also poisonous.
You know how Shelder has to bite onto Slowpoke's tail?
Yes.
I reckon the platypus is like multiple animals together.
Did you know they didn't think the platypus was a real animal? At first.
Yeah.
And like if you go to the Natural History Museum in London, their original duckbill platypus specimen is covered in cut marks because the scientist who first got one from, I think it's Australia they're endemic to, is it? or maybe
it's Australia.
I think it's Australia, yeah. Whatever country it's like endemic to, when he got a sample from there of a duck-billed platypus, he thought it was a joke, and he got so annoyed he tried to cut it with a pair of scissors. So the original, because he tried to cut the beak off, thinking he just sellotaped it to some other random animal.
Yeah.
So the original specimen that they've got in the Natural History Museum is covered in cut marks.
That's horrible.
And they had to send more for the guy, like, no, it's a real animal.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is the same. Then again, they also used to like sew fish to monkeys and say it was mermaids.
I've seen them before.
So they had a reason to suspect it wasn't a real animal. Yeah, I think duck-billed platypus is up there because that's like expecting to everything. So what I said, like they lay eggs, and they've got a bill, they swim, they can detect electromagnetic pulses in the water.
They're
They're
got poison barbs.
Yeah, they've got poison barbs. They suckle their young. So they're an animal. They're like the Swiss Army knife of animals. So that's another one that feels like that's leveled up pretty high.
What two animals do you think you could merge together to make a whole new, more interesting animal?
To make the better animal.
I'm gonna start with emu legs on a hippo.
No, the legs are too spindly.
No, but you have like 6 or 8 of them.
The legs are too spindly.
Like a spider hippo with emu
A
legs.
spider hippo, that's strong, but at the same time, I don't feel like the leg. Like the hippo doesn't really need much, like help. Really, 'cause hippos are bulletproof and they have to be hunted in the Congo with rocket launchers. If I was going to combine two animals, it'd be ones that got a very specific skill. So you can they can both utilise that skill. A cheetah for the speed, but then like a gorilla for the power. So I want like a turbo gorilla, and it'd have to have like the coloration of the cheetah, but it'd have to have like the power and size of the gorilla.
You know that the cheetah is not wearing like faster stripes, right? That's not what makes it go fast.
No, but I just want to see a turbo gorilla that has like the coloration of a cheetah. Because I like the word turbo gorilla cracks me up.
I want, for no real reason, a chameleon sloth combo.
Because
So that a sloth could just relax and just not be seen
it's like,
ever.
you know what? Your life's hard enough. I think about sloths is they shit once a week, and the most dangerous time for them is when they shit because they have to go down to the ground to shit.
Yes.
And I feel so bad for that because, like, for any other person, like, what's the most relaxing time of the day? When you go for your morning shit. For a sloth, that is the moment it dreads. No wonder it only shits once a week. If that's the one time you're vulnerable to predators, I'd hold it in as well.
See, you say it's relaxing for you, but imagine being in Australia, we have to check your toilet for black widows.
Oh yeah, that's why you just shit out the window. But then again, you got to worry about fucking an emu would see like, oh, what's that creature?
Pick you up the ass.
What?
I could have got you. I could have got you.
Right on the bumhole. Like, what's that creature? Why is it vomiting out that window?
But imagine if someone found you with an emu beak up your ass, and the emu can't get it out.
You can't explain it.
Wow.
I swear the emu did it. He's got the doctors. How did this happen? We get a lot of these people in.
I fell. I fell on the emu.
I fell on the emu's beak.
Oh man, that's a good idea though. Like sloths and communities so they can chill. Then again, I give a sloth like the super long tongue, so wouldn't you have to travel for his leaves?
Okay, so we're going to try and think of ways to make sloths lazier.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, it benefits the sloth, so it's a good combo.
We'll combine a sloth with some kind of insect so it has a couple of extra arms, so it never needs to let go when it reaches for things.
Oh man, but that'd be scary though. Things with more than like arms than is necessary, it's just wrong. It's like Goro doesn't work, man. He's got 4 pecs. Fuck that.